Hello, welcome back to The Upshot. I'm Jack Rivlin. I'm joined as ever by Zach Sweeney-Lynch.
Hi, Jack.
Hello, mate. Today, Kyle Walker injects some poison into the title race. It's gold-plated stakes and near-death experiences at the Qatar Grand Prix. And Olivier Giroud rides to AC Milan's rescue.
Nice. You going to kick us off with Kyle Walker?
Yes, I am. Yeah, so the rivalry between Arsenal and Man City, which was the title race last season, it's looking like it might be at least part of the title race this season. It's always been a bit chummy. You know, you got the transfer market dealings where Man City are happy to give the offcuts of their squads to Arsenal. Zinchenko, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean Arteta as well.
Yeah,
Arteta's Pep's protege, basically, right?
Yeah, and their relationship's pretty cosy too, isn't it? It's all
it just seems like they're mates, really.
Yeah, and it's almost sort of like a little flirty patter. Like they're not even pretending to hate each other.
It's not quite like the old Man United Arsenal rivalry of the 2000s with Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane, and Arsene Wenger and Alex Ferguson, like the pizza throwing, scraps in the tunnel. Yeah. That's what you want from it. That's what you want from a title race.
Yeah, you want some
rivalry,
poison. Or even like any managers. Like I don't know, it's reminded me immediately of Alan Pardew getting into a fight with Manuel Pellegrini years ago in the Premier League, and he just said, "Fuck off, you stupid old wanker," Pellegrini. Like, that's the sort of bite I want between managers, right?
Yeah.
As you say, bit of pizza flying around. But it's all really pally. Until Sunday night, Arsenal beat City with a late goal, and there was a moment after the game where Kyle Walker was walking off and he passed Arsenal coach Nicolas Jauvert, who was Walker's coach at Man City. He was like the set-piece coach. So again, a bit of what you'd expect, pally rivalry. And Jauvert goes to shake Walker's hand and Walker ignores him, and then something is said between them and Walker comes racing over and squares up to him. And Erling Haaland even dives in at one point. It's all getting a bit like, you know, it's nothing major. It's no Pizzagate, but it's a spicy little scrap, isn't it?
It's what you want to see, really.
Yeah.
So you'd expect maybe there'd be more of that, considering they have been teammates for such a long time, and then they're now rivals.
Yeah.
But it is, like we said before, it's just they're far too pally these days.
Yeah, it's good to see. So thank you, Kyle. I was wondering like what he said. What Jauvert said to him that caused it to escalate from an ignored handshake. Like, do you reckon Walker was shit in set-piece training when Jauvert was his coach? Or hopefully there was a reference to the infamous Kyle Walker willy waving incident of last season when there was CCTV of Walker in a bar, like necking shots, grinding on some girl, consensually, and then
not his girlfriend.
No, not his girlfriend. And then dropping his trousers and waving his willy around. I'm hoping it's.
There was also that picture of him pissing on a pub in a pub garden, just on the wall in the pub.
Yeah, why does he love getting his willy out so much?
Yeah. Have to ask him.
Yeah, we'll save that for another week. All right, what's going on at the Grand Prix?
So it was the Qatar Grand Prix this weekend, and you might remember. So it was 2021. F1 signed this deal with Qatar it was a 10-year contract worth, it's actually the most lucrative race in the whole F1 calendar. So Qatar pay £45 million each for each race just to have the right to host it. And you can imagine like the F1 bosses got lured in by that cash. It's a bit like FIFA. You know, they promised them these luxury hotels. You can imagine it's like helipads in the infinity pool, and you know they probably promised them that they'd get Salt Bay to do the trophy presentation. But what they forgot to factor in is the weather in Qatar. So it's hot. It's in the middle of the desert, and you can imagine driving this like pumped up supercar with whatever the G-force is going around these corners in the middle of the desert. Like apparently the temperatures in the cockpits on Sunday reached 50 degrees.
Fuck it.
Which, you can imagine.
And you're in a helmet.
You're in a helmet.
Full body
kit.
It's
tough enough driving an F1 car in normal temperatures. But it was a lot of the drivers were really, really struggling with the heat. So Esteban Ocon, the Alpine driver, threw up in his helmet apparently on lap 12 as well. It's not even like on the final stretch. Like he drove most of the race, just like swimming. And
What do you do when that happens? Can you open the visor and sort of like?
I don't know, because can they do that?
Well,
Is
or
it
you
just sort of like dribbling?
It probably
down
just
there?
dries on your
Yeah.
neck. Yeah, we've all been there. Normally wake up in that condition.
Yeah, and there was another driver, Logan Sargent, had to retire from the race because it was intense dehydration and heat stroke.
Right.
So he just had to pull in. There was another one, Alex Albon, was taken into an ambulance afterwards for acute heat exposure, and Lance Stroll, a Canadian driver, came out afterwards and said that he was basically like drifting in and out of consciousness as they were going around the tracks. Like he'd kind of pass out, and they're taking these corners at like 200 miles an hour.
What, and he's like,
yeah, just like drifting off.
Jesus.
Are
they angry or are they just like?
No. So Lance Stroll
Too
said
tired to
this.
complain.
He came out and said this is beyond the limit of what is acceptable. So I think normally the Singapore Grand Prix is the one that's known as super
humid,
intense, really humid, really hot. But this apparently was another level.
Yeah, the talk of dehydration is reminding me. Zach wrote an article for our paying email subscribers on Sunday about the 1904 Olympic marathon, and there's a lot of amazing bits. There's like people being made to drink rat poison and like being chased by wild dogs. People like napping during the race. But my favourite bit is that at the time there was this theory called purposeful dehydration, where they thought that drinking water made you worse at running. So there was only one water station for the entire marathon. It was in 35-degree desert heat.
Yeah,
a bit like the race.
Yeah.
And there was only one water station at the 12-mile mark. Mental.
The competitors, the runners, were led around the track by automobiles, which had just been invented then, and it was this sort of really dry, dusty track. They started the race at 3 p.m, like midday heat, and these cars are just like churning up dust. One of the runners had a stomach hemorrhage from like inhaling too much dust. So yeah, it's
sadistic stuff.
It's a very, very mad story, which we'll do a podcast on at some point.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
we'll do it in more detail. So that was the sadistic race in Qatar.
Yeah,
sounds absolutely miserable.
That
Anything more cheery going
cheery.
on?
So over in Italy, slightly more temperate climes. AC Milan, they played against Bologna this weekend, and 87th minute, I think Christian Pulisic scored, and then in stoppage time, Milan had their goalkeeper Mike Maignan sent off. It was like pretty brutal. He sort of went to collect the ball and kneed this guy in the face, so he deserved to be sent off. But Milan had made all of their substitutions by that point, so Olivier Giroud, former Arsenal and Chelsea striker, had to go in goal, and for the last 7 minutes, so it wasn't just the last 30 seconds, and he made an amazing save in stoppage time, kind of a double save. So he makes the first save and then dives on the ball. So yeah, really impressive from
Olivier
him.
Giroud, when he was at Arsenal, I sort of thought like, you're shit, is what I thought. Put him in the same breath as Marouane Chamakh, but his career has just built and built in the sort of autumn of his career. Like obviously winning World Cups in France, and now he's
he's a real unexpected legend.
Yeah, that story is also giving me memories of Neil Warnock. Neil Warnock would refuse to pick a substitute goalkeeper because he thought it was so rare that you needed one. And then they went 1-0 up against Arsenal in the Premier League, and their keeper got injured or sent off. I can't remember.
Injured, I think.
Sheffield United. So Warnock put Phil Jagielka in goal, and they won.
Yeah, I mean he did that quite a lot. Jagielka went in goal.
Oh, really?
Like 4 times or something, I think.
Was that almost like he was a utility?
Yeah, I think they sort of knew
defender.
He was all right. He was all right.
Keeper
in goal. So it's like you can get another striker on the bench. Don't bother naming a keeper, and then it's like Jags will go and goal again.
Did you see AC Milan have changed their squad page on their website to put Giroud in the goalkeepers?
Yeah.
Really nice touch.
There was another from that game. There was a great clip from Italian TV. A pundit, his name's Tiziano Crudeli, who's a big AC Milan fan. When Pulisic scored that late goal, went over to the other pundits and was properly like celebrating in their faces. It's really good. Great passion.
He's giving them the middle finger.
Yeah. It's great passion. That's what you want to see from your pundits.
Yeah, none of this pally shit between Micah Richards and Gary Neville. Give me real middle fingers to the face.
Yeah.
To be fair, the guy he's doing it to are taking it quite well. I've been quite sure about.
Yeah.
All right, here's something a lot more gentle, which is Heung-min Son. We all know he's very respectful. I mean, he's Korean. They tend to be very, very respectful, decent people anyway, and he's a lovely boy. Here he is putting the microphone down after an interview with TNT Sports, like so gently.
Yeah, it's like a small animal. Or something.
Yeah, a little hamster.
Yeah.
He's showing that microphone more respect than most players show their own wives, I would say. Also, Rio and Crouch watching him, like, with a look of, I think they're quite baffled, but also just fascination at how slowly he's doing it. It is charming. Do love the guy.
Yeah.
And something else fun we had. So last week, Alexis McAllister, the Liverpool midfielder, played against his own brother, Kevin, because Liverpool played Union Saint-Gilloise, the Belgian side. And they were talking a bit about how their whole family have been footballers. Their uncle, their dad. So they talked a bit about their dad, whose name is Carlos Javier McAllister. Here's a picture of him. His name's Carlos Javier, but he looks more like he spent 450 games at Motherwell and then got a surprise loan move to Boca Juniors.
Yeah.
He's a very Scottish-looking Argentine.
Can't tell me that guy's Argentinian.
Yeah, because Alexis McAllister does look relatively...
Yeah.
He hasn't got the ginger, basically. But I mean, this guy, he looks like Alex McLeish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does his brother look like?
Don't know, I haven't looked, but I guess presumably they're very recently Scottish emigres to Argentina.
Yeah.
Maybe their parents are Scottish.
Yeah.
It reminds me, semi-related, that one of the liberators of Chile was called Bernardo O'Higgins. So I think more Irish, I'm not sure, but again.
Bernardo
Yeah.
O'Higgins.
There's that bit in Argentina where everyone speaks Welsh. It's like their first in Patagonia. Yeah, strange. Related fact as well about Alexis McAllister's brother, Kevin. He was named after Macaulay Culkin's character in Home Alone.
Oh, really?
Very random bit of trivia for you, yeah. So
I thought that was just a coincidence.
No, they're just very international.
Yeah.
Just very international.
Kevin!
Right, I think that's all we've got time for today.
Yep.
All right,
Nice.
Thanks a lot for watching. Please hit subscribe.